Congratulations and welcome to this next course in Get Momentum. This one is all about what we call the decompress. So, you've already seen the introduction video. You've signed up for the day that you want us to mail you, and we're going to send that via email. By the way, you did enter your phone number and your mailing address. What you can expect are a couple of gifts along the way. We always want to make this as easy as possible to really surround yourself by as much information as you can gather so that it's as easy as possible to implement these courses. Now, the Decompress course, obviously you thought about this when you saw it on the website getmomentum.co. You registered for the date and date that you want us to send you that reminder. But let's take a little step back and take a look at what does it mean to decompress. Just went over to the dictionary. Decompression, a release of compressing forces. So if you kind of think about if you're in an airplane, you take off and they pressurize the cabin. So they have to pressure it, and then as you land, they depressurize that. In computer speak, in technology speak, have you ever received a zip file? Someone sends you a lot of information, they zip it down, they compress it. Then when you get it, you double click on that and you decompress it. You open it back up so that you can read it again. Okay, let's get to what this course is all about. The informal definition of decompress simply means to calm down and relax. Now, by the way, relax does not mean to do nothing. I mean, really, if you had time to relax, my guess is, well, at least for me, I wouldn't do nothing. I would do something that would release the tension. It would get rid of my anxiousness. I would rest or engage in some enjoyable activity. I mean, there's times when I want to decompress. I want to sit down, calm down, and relax. I'll read a book. Other times I'll go for a long bike ride. Other times I'll go out with a friend, have a conversation. None of those are doing nothing as much as they are engaging in that decompress aspect, that decompress period of time. Look, you're moving too fast in your business and your life. I know for me, it is so easy to lose focus, get distracted, and stay busy being, well, busy. So every week, there are 4 questions to ask yourself. Hey, did you already get that PDF? If for some reason that didn't come through, or maybe your server at work blocked it, or maybe it was too big to come through, email or call us and we will get you that immediately. If you want me to print that and send it to you, however I can get this PDF to you, really important that you have access to that. Because in this video, I'm going to talk about the pluses of doing the decompress and the minuses of not doing this kind of weekly activity. Oh, by the way, remember in that introduction video, I shared with you the day that I do my decompress? It's Thursdays. And if you open up my calendar at any time, you'll see somewhere there on Thursday, I have scheduled that 15 minutes to do my 4-question process. Now, by the way, I know I mentioned this before, and I'll have to say it again because sometimes, it's kind of incongruous with some of the things you may have heard from the productivity field. The decompress is not a weekly debrief. It's not your weekly review. Those two things might take you longer than 15 minutes. The weekly decompress is where you really radiate out this signal. You shrink down the noise and you take a look at these 4 very specific questions. So let me walk through these, give you a little bit of dialogue around each one. My commitment to you is I'm going to keep this video less than 15 minutes. Remember, 15 minutes, that's 1% of your day. That's right, in 24 hours, if you break that down, 15 minutes equals 1%. So I'm hoping, okay, I'm pleading with you, take these 15 minutes, watch this video, get these 4 questions under your belt, and then give this a good 5 or 6 week trial. I'm going to support you along the way. I sent you that PDF. You're going to have access to this video at any time you want. And in addition, we're going to email you the day that you want us to remind you to do your weekly decompress. So question number 1, what went well? And what I encourage you to do is to look back at whatever your self or action management system currently is and how that's set up. Personally, I use a digital list management system. So over in that notebook system, I have different lists, different categories, and I can keep track of the things that I have to do and the things that I've done. And I gotta tell you, when I can that easily move a task that I completed over to a completed tasks or a completed projects bucket, I actually start my weekly decompress by just scanning the completed actions, the completed projects. What did I finish this week and what went well? And it's fascinating because when I actually review the things that I've done, I notice this weird sense of boost to my energy. It's almost like the more I realize what I've done, the more excited or the more relaxed or the more engaged I get. And paradoxically, it's almost the exact opposite. When I'm looking at an email inbox that has 142 messages, an action folder in my email that's got another 200 messages, I look at my waiting on file, and I've got several things that are outstanding from clients, from colleagues, from coworkers. When I realize how much is undone, it's kind of weird, isn't it? But I actually lose a little bit of energy. That's why this question is so important. So, question number one, what went well? Go back and, again, write down your answer. And if you're a list maker, write a list. If you're a little drawer, doodler, draw a picture, whatever it is to get that out of your head so you can see it. Okay, there are 4 questions to ask. And number 2, you probably saw this coming, didn't you? What did not go so well? Now, for this one, I actually jump over into my calendar. I'll look at my email inbox. Sometimes I'll even look at my sent items in my email because there in the sent items, I may scan through and realize, wow, I had this interchange with the same person, and that was 5, 7, 12 emails back and forth where there may have been some misunderstanding. There may have been some dropping of the ball, if you will. And so, what I'm going to do is ask you to ask you. Take a look at what did not go so well over the past week. And if there's something outstanding that you didn't get to, if there's a project that's lingering that, quite frankly, you just don't really like that much anymore, if there's something out there that's pulling, weighing, or stretching you, ask yourself, can I get rid of this thing? Can I just check this off the list, or can I reach out to the person who I originally said I would do it for and say, you know what, on second, third, or fourth thought, I'm not going to be able to do it. Now, it's important to write down the answers to this question. And by the way, if you ever want to talk about this on the phone, give me a call, and I'm happy to always share. I always share, if anybody asks, my last weekly decompress because it's good. For me, it's a great time to dive in and recognize, well, look, if something did not go so well over the past 5, 7, 10 days, how do I turn that around? How do I move that into the future just a little bit further, a little bit farther, a little bit better? Okay, third question. How can I improve my next week? What can I do? And this is where I start to future cast. A mentor of mine, Lou Tice, years ago, he taught me the term flip forward. And what he said, Jason, when you're looking out over the next week, the next month, the next quarter, if you flip yourself forward and you're imagining you're already there and look back, what are the kinds of things that you want to have seen, that you want to have done? So generally, when I'm looking at how I can improve the next week or what I can do to improve the next week, I'll really quickly look at the past 3, 4, 5 weeks on my calendar just to get a scan, just to get a sense. Have I been traveling a lot? Have I been vacationing a lot? Have I been at home a lot? Have I not seen friends? Have I not been health-minded? What are the things that have been happening over the past 4 weeks? And then I go out 2 or maybe even 3 months into the future. Once I do those 2 scans, then I lock myself in and honestly, I take a look at the next 7 days, right? If I'm doing my weekly decompress today on a Thursday, I'll look from Thursday to the following Wednesday and just ask myself, who should I be connecting with? What could I be doing? Where could I be going? What could I do when I'm there or here to make it better, to make it easier, to make things more efficient or effective? All right, told you there were 4 questions, and I was only going to do this video in about 15 minutes. So let me add a little bit of context here. That 4th question Huge. I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, when I wrote Your Best Just Got Better, when I got to chapter 5, when I realized how important that team aspect of that was, and just totally transparently, it's why we started Get Momentum. I knew that if I had a community that I could rally around, if there were people who could come to the discussion forum on LinkedIn, if there were people who would arrive at those monthly webinars engaged and excited and ready to ask questions and ready to give prompts to one another, that things would get better. So here's the fourth question. What help do I need to get to my next there? And by the way, your next there is really relative, subjective, right? I mean, what is your next there? Is it a goal? Is it a event? Is it a project? Is it some experience that you're going for? I know a lot of people, their next there is a vacation they're taking. Their next there is a promotion they're anticipating. Their next there is a retirement. Your most important things are really the ones that drive this question of what help do I need? So this is where we really get to push on your social network, not your social media network. I'm not only talking about LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or any of the other social media aspects, the media areas that you can go to. What I'm looking at is, hey, open up your calendar, look at the next week, and ask yourself, who could you meet with? Who could you have a coffee with? Who could you meet after work? Who could you go for a hike or a run with? And by the way, if you're ever in Ojai or as I'm traveling around the world, if you get wind that I'm in your town, call me. Let's go out and get a cup of coffee or a beer or go for a walk or a run. Because I know what happens when two or more are gathered. I know what happens when I let someone know, hey, here's the challenge I'm facing. Here's the issue that I'm up against. Here's the project or the goal that I'm moving toward. And it's amazing what happens when we come together, to help each other. Your decompress should take you less than 15 minutes. Honestly, if you get in here and after 3 or 4 or 5 of these, if it's taking you an hour, hour and a half, call me. I mean, let's work this out. Generally, I spend less than 15 minutes on my own decompress. I do this once a week. Oh yeah, and I do keep track of these. I keep them in my notebook system so that I can look back on, hey, what was I dealing with last week, last month, last quarter, last year? All right, I want you to go in there. If today's the first day that you're going to try this, you're going to practice with this, take that PDF that you downloaded. If there's anything that I can do to help you out, give me a call, send me an email, reach out to one of our team. Oh, I know. Go over to the LinkedIn discussion group and consider for yourself posting your weekly decompress. I know it might be a little bit sensitive, but look, what if, here's the crazy what if as you put down what didn't go so well and you put down what help do you need next week, what if one of our colleagues or me, what if we showed up and gave you a hand? Wouldn't that be fascinating? All right, that's it for this course video. You've got the PDF. You're going to get the weekly reminders for your decompress. Again, if there's anything we can do, you've got all of our contact information right there on the getmomentum.co website. Thanks, everybody.